Welcome to another episode of the Lone Recruiter Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clemenson, and if you're a recruiter out on your own or just lacking general advice or support, you've come to the right place. Our episodes are designed to give you the motivation, the mentorship, and the strategies you need to become the very best Lone Recruiter. So join us, grab a cup of coffee, and let's take your desk to another level. Now, it is November, December. There are 8 weeks left until Christmas, and you're starting to see your market shut down. You're starting to see your candidates switch off. You're starting to see your clients wrap things up. And it starts to freak you out a little bit because you're a recruiter and you're thinking, that's still 2 months I need to be billing, right? I just want to give you some things that work for me at this time of year. November and December are typically my biggest months. Historically, I've been recruiting for 17 years now. And every time I look back at November and December, they are some of the biggest months I ever have. Like six-figure months, 100K, 150K months. Right? And I don't think I'm doing anything different or special, but I think what I am able to do is articulate and communicate to candidates and to clients why November and December are particularly important months to be recruiting. So let me start with what we all probably hear on the phone, starting to hear on the phone now, and we've heard it all before, which is you're talking to a candidate, you've got this red hot role, and they say, look, I'm just going to see this year out, and then I'm going to probably look in the new year. And a lot of recruiters go, oh, okay, fair enough. And there's no real logic that can get through to them at that point. And that's because they're probably at the end of the year, it's busy. If you've got kids, it's busy with Christmas parties. You're trying to just wrap up projects. I get it. Like, I really do get it. But there are sometimes just candidates where you go, are you just saying that because it's easier? You think it's going to be easier? Or are you saying that because you actually think that strategically that's a better play for you as a candidate looking for work? Because there's a misconception in the market, I believe. And candidates always say this. It gets quiet over before Chrissy, lead up to Chrissy, everyone's shutting down, and then it gets quite busy in the new year. It's actually so incorrect, it's not funny. So if you've got candidates that you're working with at the moment and they're starting to say, look, I'm just going to see this year out, I'll start looking in the new year. Here's a simple logic for you to communicate with them, and it will change the, activation of that candidate. I think you'll see more candidates go, you know what, you're making sense. And here it is. It's as simple as this, right? When a company starts to get to November, December, they look at their forward workload, they start looking at their resourcing needs, and they also start thinking, we probably need a few extra heads in the business or bums on chairs come January, February because we want to hit the ground running. Most companies are thinking this way. They're using this down, sort of like lead into Christmas to start. They've got a bit more headspace and they're thinking a bit more strategically. So what we find, and probably what you're finding with your clients, is that they are trying to resource now for the roles that or for next year so that they can hit that, come back from Christmas and they can hit the ground running. That's what companies are doing right now. And what candidates are doing, and what I just said before, they're saying, I'm just going to see this year out. It's a quiet time anyway. I'll look in the new year. The problem with that is everyone says that. And what does everyone do come the stroke of midnight? What is it? December 31st? New Year's Eve. And then 1st of January rolls around. Everyone has a New Year's resolution. And for any of those people who are saying, I'll look in the new year, there's 5 times as many people going, you know what? I'm not going to put up with my jerk boss anymore. I'm going to go and find myself a new job. And what we find is you've probably got 5 times as many candidates on the market come January, February, and half as many jobs because they've actually been filled this side of Christmas and New Year's. So you've got this mismatch of perceptions of what's going on in the market. And I think if you can communicate this to your candidates eloquently and effectively, they will see the logic in what you're saying. So you essentially say to them, come New Year's Eve, everyone's New Year's resolution is to jump on the market. The reality is the jobs are here now. Companies are strategically looking for next year to see what roles need filling and who they need in place so that they can kick off with a bang. So if you activate your job search in November and December, as opposed to January, February, you've probably got 3 times as many jobs to look at with a fraction of the competition in terms of other candidates. If you delay and you go to January, February and start looking for the jobs, well, half of those jobs that are available now are filled, and you've got 4 or 5 times as many candidates vying for the same jobs. You've actually got way lower odds of getting that gig early in the year. Plus, it's a pain in the butt because everyone's away and things are slow and things come through in drips and drabs. So if you've got a nice, clean, concise job search now. We can look at a bunch of options. I can probably get you 3 or 4 things to look at, in the next couple of weeks. We can do it, and you're probably going to have a bunch of job offers there, and you can go into Christmas knowing you've done that bit. You can go on leave knowing you can have a proper rest and be quite excited to start in the new year, as opposed to jumping out in that job search early next year, and before you know it, it's Easter, and you're only just finding a job, and you've kind of wasted a quarter of the year. So that's my logic. It works. There is no surprise why I have Novembers and Decembers as some of my biggest months, because I've used this logic for 17 years. And every year I hear a client or a candidate give me any of those excuses why we can't do recruitment now, I tell them that little anecdote, and it activates them almost every single time, because it makes sense and it's absolutely true. So it might not be applicable to every market, but I would guarantee that most markets operate in the same way, because this is a human condition. This is a psyche. This is not, I don't think it's market related. I think it's human related. It's just human nature. End of the year, candidates get burnt out and tired. Let's just put it off till next year. Clients want to make sure we're ready for next year, because it's their strategic role to make sure that they are prepared for the year to come. That's all I have time for you today. I hope you got something out of it. If you liked anything, please subscribe, share, give us a review. It helps us grow. We really appreciate it, and we are growing. I'm seeing the stats. I'm really excited. We've got people sharing this podcast. We're getting rated as top podcasts in Australia. Love it. Keep it coming. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Have an amazing day, and as always, may all your deals come true.